Hello, Simmers. We're back. Some more New Jersey Devils Battle Royale franchise mode in Hockey Legacy Manager 25. And we are here with only 8 teams remaining in the league. So let's get underway with the offseason and see what this next year has in store for us. So, oh boy, you have Nemetz, Finley, Hornqvist, and Hughes all expiring this year, along with Snuggerud, Prishkapov, and then Fisher as well. Okay, so let's start out with, I guess, Nemetz, Finley, and Hughes. Nemetz wants 5 years for 12 mil. Hughes wants 3 years for 4 mil. Okay, that's good. He's not nearly as expensive as he once was. That makes sense. He's 35 now, 85 overall, and he is pretty likely to drop off during the offseason jump. So I would like to, I think, get him for 1 year at 3.9 and a modified no trade clause. And then Finley, he wants 7 years for 10 mil. Hornqvist wants 6 years for 6.5. Overall, Finley's been really solid. He's never been weak during the regular season. And I mean, he has had a couple of rough playoffs, particularly these past 2 seasons, but I still believe in him. So we'll go 7 years for 9.37. And then Nemetz, we're going to get, I think Nemetz is going to start dropping off at some point soon. He's 32 already. I mean, he had a great season this past season, 82 points. He's still very much worth a lot, but I don't want to go 5 years. I'll take him to 3. And of course, it goes down to medium interest. So we would have to go 12.3 and the no movement clause for 3 years to get Nemetz locked up. Yeah, I would say he's worth that. I can't imagine he drops off too much this upcoming offseason. So he should still definitely be worth at least close to this amount by the time next season rolls around. So we'll send him that offer. As for year number 3 of that contract, I'm not sure. He might not be worth that at that point, but at least it would only be a 3-year deal. And that would be the tail end of the deal, right? So I think what we're going to do now is simulate a day and see if we get all 3 of those guys locked up. Yes, we do. So now we're down to 14.9 in cap space remaining. We still have Hornqvist, Snuggerud, and Prishkapov to sign. And it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get all of them signed, I don't think. Snuggerud wants 4.6. Prishkapov wants 4.7. Hornqvist, 6.5. So I think we'll get Hornqvist locked up for sure. He jumped from a 76 to an 85 last season, and he had a solid 50.3 CF percentage, 205 hits, and 44 points on the season. So we'll get him locked up for 6 years at 6.1. So now Hornqvist has accepted his offer. We're now down to 8.8. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to sign Snuggerud and Prishkapov. And even if we can, then we're going to have no more room for any kind of depth. So I think it's got to be one or the other here. Oh, look at that. Trottier is up to an 80 overall already, and the offseason jump hasn't even happened yet. So you have to imagine that he's going to be able to slot into the lineup next season, and he would be able to potentially replace Prishkapov as the playmaker. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to release Prishkapov. He only had 12 points last year anyway. I don't think that's necessarily deserving of 4.7. And then we'll sign Trottier to take his place. And Trottier can actually take faceoffs too. He's got that 68 faceoffs. So yeah, I think he would be able to easily replace Prishkapov. So we'll sign Snuggerud. I'll give him 2 years for 4.613. And then, of course, we'll also sign Trottier to a rookie deal. So as Snuggerud and Trottier signed, yep, we can no longer afford Prishkapov. How did Fisher do last year? 4 points in 9 games played. He wants nearly 2 mil. I think I'll release him. We could probably find some of his skill level cheaper in free agency. Kokolai, I definitely want to sign, though, because he had 14 goals last season on the 4th line for us, and he had a 53.5 CF percentage. And he only wants 1 year for 1.2, so we'll give him that. We'll give him 1 year, 1.16. Then I think I also want to sign Karpovich as a backup defenseman. So I'll give him 1 year for 1.18. And both of them have accepted their deals, and I believe that will be just about it. We are priced out on essentially everybody else here, as we only have, yeah, that's less than $1 million left in cap space. That's like 600,000 left in cap space, roughly. So we cannot afford any more players as we are right now. We have 13 forwards, 7 defensemen, 2 goaltenders, the absolute bare minimum of what we need, essentially. So I guess with that, there's not much else to do except for advance to July 1st. As far as free agency goes, I mean, once again, there's not really much we can do unless we make a trade here. And at the moment, I'm liking the way our roster is looking. So I think we honestly just advance straight to the Hall of Fame inductions. It seems like we're doing that a lot lately. But you know what? There's just not really anything to do here for this team. I think, we have, despite our struggles lately in the first round, we do have the talent and the experience as well to be able to win another Stanley Cup. And this is only with 2 rounds of the playoffs now, right? There's only the semifinals and the finals. That's it. So I think this team is set to make yet another run for the Stanley Cup. So all that being said, let's get up to Hall of Fame inductions on August 1st. And inducted in the Hockey Hall of Fame this year are Leon Draisaitl, Austin Matthews, Andrei Vasilevsky, and Brady Tkachuk. All right, so here's the offseason jump. You have Ivanen's going to a 79 overall, +8. Luce up to a 79. Dryman up to a 78. Farrell up to an 80. Luke McConnell up to an 82. Let's see, Luke and then Nemeth both down to 91s. Snuggerud down to 82. And Jack Hughes down to an 82 overall now. Yep, he's starting to regress now too. Oh, wow, we're actually in negative cap now. I don't exactly know how that happened, to be honest, because I haven't made any moves since the re-sign stage, but it looks like we're going to have to move somebody here. Okay, so I have determined that Snuggerud needs to be traded. Despite signing him to a contract earlier, he's just making a little too much money, and he's actually our 13th forward right now. I didn't think that would be the case. I thought he would be on at least our 4th line, but apparently not. And I don't want to have 4.6 of cap just sitting there when we're in the negative cap space right now. So we will be trading Snuggerud, and he is unfortunately the only player on our team who actually has negative trade value as well. And unfortunately, there are not many teams that have a positive cap space either. It's basically just Tampa. Everybody else would be in the negative from this trade. Wait, can I not trade for draft picks anymore? Is there no more draft picks? I don't see an option to trade for draft picks. Is the draft just over now? Is there no more draft for this GM mode? Is that it? Because I don't see any option to trade for draft picks anymore. That's actually kind of sad. I think we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to add a lot more value here, as it's not even close, it seems, even for an 80 overall. Yeah, there's no more. We can't even give up a draft pick of our own. So I guess we're gonna need to be careful with trading prospects here as well. Yeah, we're gonna have to retain cap. That's the only way this is gonna work value-wise. And then we're gonna have to put a low-quality prospect on there as well in Dubé. Yep, so Snuggerud at 50% of his salary retained, plus Al Dubé in exchange for Norman Sabourin, who is a 2-way forward, 80 overall, 26 years of age, 1 year for 2.7 on his contract. He had 9 points last year, so nothing too impressive, but we do need to dump the cap off here a little bit. And I guess this could have been avoided if I just didn't sign Snuggerud, right? But, you know, I thought for sure he would have a bigger role than being the 13th forward. So, I mean, that's why I signed him, right? But I guess that was not going to happen with guys like Trottier coming in. So Snuggerud and Dubé for Sabourin, trade accepted. There you go. So we now have less than $1 million left to work with, and we're going to leave it that way. We're not going to be making any other moves at the moment. So with all that being done, let's get underway with year number 13 now. And actually, we're gonna have to set the captains here. Let's keep Hughes as the captain, and then we will have Nemeth as the alternate there. Oh, right. I guess we'll go over the lines. I don't know how I forgot that. That's usually a routine for me. We're on December 2nd right now, so we're better late than never, though, right? So first line is Arsenault, Zadorov, and Vasilevsky. Second line is Combe, Sear, and Guskov. Third line is Hughes, Gumarov, and Hornqvist. And the fourth line is Celebrini, Trottier, and Kokolai. And then Sabourin is scratched. On defense, you have Hughes and Nemeth, Salaev and Singleton, Bergfors and Stenlund, and then Karpovich as the backup. And then Finley and McConnell in goal. Special teams, power play is Hughes, Sear, Zadorov, Hughes, and Singleton. Then is Arsenault, Trottier, Vasilevsky, Bergfors, and Nemeth. Then the penalty kill is Gumarov, Combe, Stenlund, and Nemeth. And then Guskov, Hornqvist, Salaev, and Hughes. Ooh, first major injury of the year, Bogdan Vasilevsky out for 1 month with a fractured foot. And we have absolutely no players to call up, so we're going to have to go into our unsigned prospects list. And we're going to sign either Luce or Farrell here. We're able to sign Luce here to a 3-year contract, so we're going to do that right now. Oh, look at that. Luce is up to an 83 now from playing from his 8 games in the NHL. So I think I'll switch him in on the 4th line there, at least temporarily. And we have finished the regular season 45, 24, and 13. Good enough for first in the league and 103 points. So we won the President's Trophy once again. Let's take a look at the player stats for the season. Starting out in goal, you have 61 games played for Finley and a 908 save percentage and 2 shutouts, and a goal saved above average of 14.02. And McConnell, 21 games played with a 909 save percentage, 1 shutout, and a 5.37 goal saved above average. So both solid seasons for Finley and McConnell. Skater-wise, you have Luke Hughes leading the way with 72 points, then Nemets with 65, Zadorov with 57 leads forwards. Wow. Then you have Arsenault with 55, Sear with 48, Vasilevsky with 46, Combe with 44, Guskov with 42, Hughes and Singleton with 41, Stenlund and Bergfors with 34, Salayev with 32, Hornqvist with 29, Gumarov with 28, Trottier with 17, Kokolai with 16, Luce with 9, Celebrini with 5, Sabrin with 4, and Karpovich with 1 and 2 games played. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious just how much Jack Hughes carried the forward core back in his prime, because now that he's starting to, regress. He's down to 82 overall now. We're starting to see just how much of an impact he had, with Zadorov currently leading our forward core in points with 57. I mean, if we didn't have a top 2 defensive core of Luke Hughes and Nemets and then Finley and net, we might not be in the best position right now. In fact, we might have been eliminated this year if not for having that kind of defensive core and that kind of goaltending. And here in the first round of the playoffs, we're starting out against the Edmonton Oilers. Let's get right into it. Simulation underway. And there's a goal for Gazizov on the power play to make it 1-0 Edmonton. Power play for New Jersey, nothing doing. 5 minutes remaining in the first period. And that will be a scoreless first period for your New Jersey Devils. Come on, guys. Norris with the goal to make it 2-0 in favor of Edmonton. All right, there's our first goal of the game. Vasilevsky from Hughes and Arsenault to make it 2-1. And that'll do it for the second period, down by 1 heading into the third. Power play for Edmonton, nothing doing. Halfway through the third period now. Give me one more goal here in New Jersey, at least one more goal. 5 minutes remaining in the third, 2-1, and that'll be it in a 2-1 victory for Edmonton. 3 stars of the game, Yegorov, Hughes, and Gazizov. So Edmonton takes a 1-0 series lead, and let's try to get one back here in game number 2. And that is a scoreless first period for both teams. Heading into the second period, tied at nothing. 5 minutes remaining in the second period, still nothing doing, and there is a goal for Lysel for Edmonton to make it 1-0 heading into the third period, where Kokolai gets the goal, and then Hughes, and then Norris makes it 2-2 in the third period. 5 minutes remaining. Come on, guys. Are we going to overtime? Yes, we are. We're headed to overtime. And there's the goal for O'Reilly of Edmonton to give them a 2-0 series lead. 3 stars of the game, Yegorov, O'Reilly, and Lysel. All right, here we go. Game number 3 in Edmonton this time. Give me something here, New Jersey. There's a goal for Lysel off the bat to make it 1-0. And that will be it for the first period. Another scoreless first period for your New Jersey Devils, as Lysel gets another one on the power play this time to make it 2-0 Edmonton. 2-1, and that'll be it for the second period. And there's another one for Yunland, his first of the series, to make it 3-0. All right, there's our first goal of the game. Salayev from Guskov and Stenlund makes it 3-1, but is it too little too late? It's looking like it might be 3-2-1, and yes, indeed, that'll be it for the game, and we are down 3-0 in the series. 3 stars game, Yegorov, Lysel, and Julian. So let's make a line change here, just to try to shake things up here, because the top 6 has been absolutely lifeless. I mean, really, the whole team scoring's been absolutely nowhere in this series. You have Arsenault with 1 assist, Vasilevsky with 1 goal, Guskov with an assist, Gumarov with an assist, Jack Hughes with 1 goal, Kokolai with a goal, Luke Hughes with an assist, Nemets with an assist. Yeah, literally no one has any more than 1 point at the moment. And then Finley, he's doing well. He's got that 916 save percentage, but he needs some help from his scoring. He needs some help from his offense. So I think what we're going to do here, let's get Jack on the first line. So it'll be Jack, Zadorov, and Vasilevsky. Then it's Arsenault, Sear, and Guskov, Luce, Gumarov, and Hornqvist, and then Combe, Trottier, and Kokolai. And then on defense, I switched Salayev and Singleton with Bergfors and Stenlund. As far as the power play goes, why is Vasilevsky not on there? I'm going to get him on there right now. That could have been part of the problem right there. And I think that's going to have to do it. There's not many other changes I can think of. So here we go. Game number 4. We're going to have to perform a miraculous comeback here. And there it is. Guskov with the goal makes it 1-0, but there's O'Reilly to make it 1-1 on the power play. And there's 2-1 Hornqvist, and then Arsenault with the goals. Okay, we're finally scoring in this series. Kokolai with the goal. We finally get some scoring as Zadorov as well. And then Nemets, wow, okay, we're finally scoring. I would have been happy with 3 goals as we struggled to do even that, but now we have 6 in this game, and we're not even in the third period yet. And there's Yunlin with the goal, and Parasik makes it 6-4. So of course, in the game where we're scoring a lot, they're also scoring. 3-2-1. There's a goal by Kokolai, and that is the 7-4 victory. We hold on and live another game. 3 stars game. Luke Hughes with 4 assists, Parasik and Julian. That's what we really needed. We needed Luke Hughes and Neves to step up there, and we're gonna need that from them. Really, ideally for the rest of the time that we're in the playoffs here. So let's get going at game number 5. Let's take it one game at a time. There you go. Nemets with the goal makes it 1-0. There's Hornqvist with the goal to make it 2-0. Come on, guys. All right, there's a goal for Lai to make it 2-1. And that'll be it for the first period. We're up by 1 heading into the second. 3-2-1. That'll be it for the second period. That is a scoreless second period. And we are headed into the third period. Now tied at 2, a goal by Yunland. Come on, guys. 10 minutes remaining in the third. There's a goal for Bergfors. His first of the playoffs to make it 3-2. 5 minutes remaining. 3-2-1. Sear with the goal. And we take yet another game. We're at 3-2 in the series now. Anything can happen. 3 stars a game. Nemets, Hughes, and Yunland. All right, game number 6. Let's force a game number 7 here. Come on, guys. We can do it. We can definitely do it after the performance we've had these past 2 games. There you go. Combe with the goal to make it 1-0 on the 4th line. And all of a sudden, the momentum in this series has drastically shifted as Petrov's with the goal to make it 1-1 heading into the second period. As there's Yunland with the goal. And then McDavid with his first of the series to make it 3-1. And then Julian with the power play goal. So they're starting to ruin our fun here. As Hakanson with the power play goal makes it 5-1. And it seems that this is just about all but wrapped up here, unfortunately. 5 minutes remaining in the third period. It's not happening. And there's a last-minute goal by Sierra on the power play, but it was not nearly enough, and we are out in the first round once again. I like the fight that we showed in games 4 and 5, but unfortunately we just, put ourselves in too deep of a hole way too early, going down 3-0 in the series. So there's not much else to be said about that. We just got to be better. We just got to be better next time. So let's take a look at the stats for the playoffs. Finley in 6 games played at an .897 save percentage. Skater-wise, you have Luke Hughes with 8 points, and then you have Jack with 4, along with Nemets and Guskov, who also had 4. Stenlund, Kokolai, and Arsenault and Zadorov all with 3. Salayev, Singleton, Hornqvist, Luce, Trottier, and Sear with 2. And then Vasilevsky, Combe, Bergfors, and Gumarov all with 1. I think you need players like Vasilevsky and Zadorov to step up in moments like these, and I don't think they did that this year. As we take a look at Zadorov's playoff stats, only 3 points. And then Vasilevsky, same thing, only 1 goal for him. So that's just, that's not acceptable from your top players, I don't think. I mean, I know Jack Hughes isn't what it used to be anymore, but that's not an excuse. We were still the #1 team in the league this season. We were, at least in terms of the regular season, and we still could not find a way to get it done in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, it just, once again, it just goes to show you how reliant this team was on Jack Hughes back in his prime, right? Because now that he's not in his prime anymore, now that he's dropping, and he may even retire at some point soon. It may even be this offseason. It's for some reason struggling. We are for some reason struggling to find our footing now in the post Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier era, or at least that's the case in the playoffs, right? Like, we're okay going into the playoffs. We have no problem getting into the playoffs. It's just once we're in, we now for some reason can't seem to score. We can't seem to get past the first round, and at times we can't seem to score, especially when Luke Hughes and Nemets aren't really producing. That's when we really start struggling, right? That's when we really struggle offensively. And it makes sense when you consider the regular season stats. I mean, Luke Hughes and Simon Nemets both at the top of our scoring list with 72 and 65 points each, and then the first forward 57 points was Zadorov. Yeah, that's not exactly ideal. Either we're gonna have to hope that guys like Trottier and Sear develop really well and become the scoring threats that we're currently for some reason missing, or we're gonna have to make a trade because this can't repeat next year. This absolutely cannot repeat next year. With the forward core being as seemingly inept as it is, I don't understand it, frankly, because you have guys like Zadorov, you have Vasilevsky, you have Guskov, you have Arsenault, you have Gumarov, you have so many good players on our forward core. We have such a deep forward core, but for whatever reason, it's just not working. It's not working without Jack Hughes in his prime anymore. So I guess with that being said, let's simulate up to the awards and see what happens. You have St. Louis winning the Stanley Cup this year. They went through Colorado and Edmonton. So of course they get the Stanley Cup. Then you have, for how many years in a row is that now? That is 5 years in a row of the President's Trophy for your New Jersey Devils. But we for some reason just can't seem to get it done in the playoffs recently. And the Hart Trophy goes to Maddox Schultz for a second year in a row. The Conn Smythe also goes to Schultz of St. Louis. The Art Ross also goes to Schultz with 113 points. The Calder goes to Perrier of Colorado with 82 points. The Maurice Richard goes to Tep of Tampa with 59 goals. Then for the Ted Lindsay, you have Maddox Schultz with 82 assists. Then the Selke Trophy once again goes to Gregorcic of Ottawa with the 55.5 CF percentage. I mean, yeah, that's 5 years in a row for Gregorcic. I mean, I'm not even sure if Bergeron did Bergeron even win it 5 times in a row in his career? I don't think so. No, he did not win it 5 times in a row in his career. So the fact that Gregorcic did this 5 times in a row is really impressive. Then you have for the Bobby Orr Trophy, Landon Dupont with 97 points for St. Louis. And then for the Norris Trophy, Landon Dupont breaks Luke Hughes' streak with the 54.9 CF percentage. Then for the Vezina, you have Yegorov of Edmonton. And for the Jack Adams, you have Hiller of St. Louis. All right, time for the retirements. So it seems Jack Hughes did not retire this year, so that's good to know. He's going to be hanging around for a bit longer. And then retiring this year, having played for us in the past, is Adam Bachquist, Nico Dawes, Ty Smith, Nolan Foote, Nikita Okachuk, I think is how it's pronounced, Tice Thompson, Jack Drury, and Akira Schmid. And also Connor McDavid hangs him up. 1,694 games played, 845 goals, 1,389 assists for 2,234 points. Not bad at all. Then you also have Robert Thomas, Dylan Cousins, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Brandon Hagel, Connor McMichael, Eli Tolvanen, Vasily Podkolzin, Giannis Jerome Mosier, and Juuso Välimäki all retiring this year. And eliminated at the end of this season are the Seattle Kraken and the Boston Bruins. So we are now down to 6 teams in the league. So it should be pretty interesting to see where we go from here. As you know, we saw earlier how we couldn't trade for draft picks. Yeah, I don't think there's any draft anymore because we're going straight to the contract extensions here. It doesn't seem like there's any draft lottery. Yeah, there's no more draft lottery or draft. We're just going straight to the contract extensions. So we're getting to the end times here. We're getting to the end times of the NHL in this save file. So with all that being done, I think it's about time to wrap this one up here. But of course, not before I thank the channel members. Thank you guys so much for all your supports. And I'll see you guys in the next one where we continue this New Jersey Devils Battle Royale franchise mode.